Now, I understand not everyone has the time to cook things that take hours in the kitchen. That's why in this one, we're going to be making a chicken curry that serves about 4 to 6 people in about 30 minutes. I mean, you can make it longer if you wanted to for a bit of extra flavor, but it is beautiful just like this. Let's get straight into it.
As usual, we'll start with the prep. We're going to need 2 green chilies. Just take off the stem and then give these a rough chop. If you don't like chili, you don't have to use them, but these are quite mild and they're good to have in the curry. We're then going to need 5 cloves of freshly peeled garlic and 15 grams of peeled ginger. Run both of these along a microplane to create pastes, and then just make sure you scrape it all out of there to avoid any waste. And we're then going to split this in half, and half of it's going to be used as the tomato gravy, and half is going to be used as the chicken marinade. The chicken I am using for this recipe is 800 grams of chicken thigh. This is boneless and skinless. You can use bone-in chicken thigh if you wanted to. It is a little bit cheaper than this as well. And all we have to do is dice this into small pieces. Obviously, if your chicken is bone-in, just leave it whole and then we can sort that out later on. Once you have the chicken cut up, or if it's whole, add it into a bowl, and for the marinade, add in 250 grams or 1 cup of natural Greek yogurt, 5 grams of garam masala and 2.5 grams of ground coriander, 2.5 grams of ground turmeric, half of that garlic and ginger paste that we made before, generously season it with salt, as well as hitting it up with a little bit of ground white pepper. Then we can pot on a glove, use tongs or even a spoon, and just mix this all around till everything's evenly coated. And now we can use this straight away, or you can put it in the fridge for up to 48 hours, but because this is a 30-minute curry, we're going to use it straight away. In a pan over medium-high heat, add in 40 milliliters or 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. We're then going to add in those chilies as well as the remaining garlic and ginger paste. And just fry this off for about 1 to 1.5 minutes, moving it around regularly just so the fragrance of both of those can come out. Next to go in is the spices. This is 7.5 grams of garam masala, 5 grams of ground coriander, 2.5 grams of ground turmeric, and 1.5 grams of ground Kashmiri chili powder. Cook this for 1 minute to really enhance the flavour of those spices. Then add in 2 cans or 800 grams of crushed tomatoes or puree tomatoes. 1 tablespoon of kasuri methi or ground fenugreek leaves. Just crush these up in your hand to get that extra flavour in there. And I'm also adding in 5 grams of sugar. This is optional, you don't have to use it. It just counterbalances the acidity of the tomatoes. And be sure to make sure you season it to taste. Give this all a really good mix through for those flavours to become friends, then bring it up to a simmer, place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and just cook this for about 10 minutes for that sauce to reduce. Now once you have that done, we can add in 180 milliliters or 3/4 of a cup of chicken stock or water, but chicken stock for extra flavour. Mix this through again for those flavours to become friends again. Then we can add in that chicken and the marinade. Make sure you scrape the bowl to get all of that flavour in there. Once you have all of that in, just give this all a really good mix. Make sure everything's coated, none of that chicken is stuck together, and that sauce should lighten up quite well here just due to that yogurt. Bring this back up to a boil, then we can place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and cook this for 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we can prepare our rice. Just place a pot over a high heat, add in 1.5 cups of basmati or long grain rice. Make sure you wash it to remove any of the excess starch. Add in 2 3/4 cups of cold water. You can also add in some aromats as well, like cinnamon sticks, cardamom pods, or dried bay leaves, as well as a pinch of salt. Just give this a mix to make sure nothing's clumped and bring this to a boil. Place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and cook for 12 minutes. Now after 12 minutes, turn this off the heat, but leave the lid on for a final 5 minutes. Then we can remove that lid, pick out those aromats, they've done their job. Just get rid of these and discard them, they'll have no flavour left in them. And then fluff up that rice with either a fork or a spatula, and it should come away cleanly from the pan, leaving us with this soft, fluffy rice. Going back to the curry, remove that lid, be careful of any escaping steam. We can then mix this through, make sure all of those oils that have seeped to the top just get mixed back through. That's where all of the flavour is. Check it again for seasoning, then we can remove this from the stovetop. Now as for serving up, you can do this any way you please. I like to place the rice on one side and then the curry on the other. Of course you can use the rice as a bed and place the curry over the top, it's up to you. Like I said in the intro, this should serve anywhere between 4 to 6 people, depending on portion size. The sauce has a beautiful consistency to it as well, it's not too runny. And I like to serve this with coriander or cilantro. You can also serve it with some roti or naan. And with everything done, we're left with this beautiful 30-minute chicken curry that anybody can make.
Now with everything said and done, there is only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, we can then dig in. From something that only takes 30 minutes, there is so much flavour in there. It's easy to make, it's cheap, it's delicious. Most of the ingredients you should already have in your cupboard, like the dry spices and all of that. And if you do end up buying more, you will use them again to make this type of recipe as well. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, really helps me out, helps the channel be seen by more people, and consider subscribing along with hitting the bell notification next to it so you never miss when I upload. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.